Hey, this is Brian Hatch, founder of Automate Big, and I wanted to jump into another episode of Marketing Runs Deep, and I want to talk about something that has really changed my life. You see, when I was early on in the marketing industry, I was in the automation space, learning email marketing, learning how to build opt-in pages and get conversions and take care of all the fun things behind the scenes that a lot of people need in their business but don't really want to have to deal with in their business. And when I left and started doing my own thing and teaching and training and helping other people to basically scale up in this space of marketing automation, I fell in love with advertising. Advertising is something that every business, in my opinion, needs to do. Now, I recognize that there are people that are doing great things, that have a great network, that are working manually and calling people on the phone, talking to people physically, and I commend every effort that spreads your business. Like, that is important. But for me, advertising is something that I don't believe any business should completely forego. Even in the space of social media marketing, just social posts, it's a pay-to-play scenario where you're trying to boost your posts or get it in front of an audience, because if people don't see your posts, then they can never respond to them. So even when it's not really like a sales funnel, it's just, hey, check out this cool thing and comment. There are a lot of people that are actually paying to get people to see those so they can comment and grow their business. But I digress a little bit. The advertising arm of any business should be evident. Now, one of my favorite things, and when I learned about Facebook, I was not excited about Facebook for any of the personal reasons. I was excited about Facebook when it first came out because of the marketing potential. When I understood what it did, and it categorized people and their behaviors and what they liked, what they hated, what they did, and how they commented, it was fascinating to me. And I get there's some Big Brother-ish and some scenarios that some people might not like, but I really love the fact that, wow, in this platform on Facebook, I can target people that love this or do this or have this affinity. And that made a huge difference to me, because most of marketing in the 50 years ago, television and radio, granted, you're targeting an audience based upon what show they're watching, but either way, it's a very general audience. It's like, hey, we do this thing, but it's not very specific or niche. And that's what I loved about the advertising platform is social media. Facebook was the first that I really got involved in when I started getting out of just the automation side and focusing a lot more on the advertising side of my business. They both are important. I fell in love with everything we could do with Facebook. I mean, there's so many cool things that retargeting, when someone sees something or reacts or likes or comments or shares something, you can then retarget that specific person to see a different ad the next time. And that was really intriguing to me, that you could get that moving. In some of the cases with our clients, on a front end, to get people to go to a sales page, that was not the best converting, right? But it did provide a phenomenal remarketing strategy. And again, it's just showing that person that came to your page another ad that's different from the first one they saw, right? And only showing that group of people that next ad, that blew my mind that I could do that. And so that's why, if you are running your business and you want to advertise correctly, social media is a great way to do this. Now, blow my mind again when I got into YouTube ads. The YouTube ad is incredible, because there are versions of YouTube ads currently right now that you can be running, okay, that unless someone watches 30 seconds or more of your video, you don't pay for it. That's pretty incredible that you can advertise in front of an audience like that. And right now, the stats show that the last year and a half, almost 2 years, that YouTube has overrun Facebook as far as the #1 platform that people are hitting on a daily basis. So that's incredibly powerful for you to note, is that YouTube is a great place for most everybody. I get there's still different demographics and places you want to advertise depending on what you do and who you're helping. But those are great platforms to use. One of the other things I want to mention on social media on the Facebook side is, in this post I will share a link that you actually go and check out people's ads. I mean, you can see any of your competitors. You can see what they're doing on advertising. If you're going to go buy from a company, you're going to go buy a brand new something from a company, you can go check the ads and see if they have a promo code running for that same thing you want to buy. So I'll link that in the bio here, that you can actually see everything of other people's ads on Facebook, which is interesting, and Instagram. But YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, those are our favorite platforms to advertise on. There are many others, and so I want to actually take you in and show you a couple great ads. But before I do that, one thing that I want to note is that there are different versions of advertising. Now, some people look at advertising and say, okay, well, I'm going to do an ad. I got to have some beautiful print, like I got to have some cool images. I got to have some videos. I got to, potentially even spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars of having a production company create an ad for me and then run it and then see if it works. Well, just note, there are various versions. And I'm not saying that any one of those is bad or right or wrong. There are some ads that are direct to camera like this that are very low budget. I mean, I'm talking like shoot your cell phone, shoot a video of yourself, or even from your computer laptop, shooting yourself on the computer doing something, teaching something. Those ads are performing incredibly well right now. Incredibly well. Now, on the other side of the fence, the really very well produced, maybe even funny, has some satire in it, whatever the case is, though, like there are some great commercials out there that you can run and use, but I just know that those are very costly. You have to script right, you have to make sure that you got all the props, all the settings, and different angles, all that kind of stuff. So note that there are different versions of advertising you can do, and then there's always the still images, which are great. But those all have their place in advertising. And there are many other platforms you can be advertising on that I really love, that I will mention more in maybe later videos. But I do want to show you some ads that are really working well, that are doing really good things. And you'd be surprised that you don't even have to have the most shiny, blingy, funny, amazing ad in the world in order to have it convert for you. And again, I will say that if there's anything you take away from this on the advertising level, that you look at remarketing. Get people to a page and then remarket them to see something only for those people that hit the page. Really cool thing. But let's just jump in and I just want to show you some really cool ads that are out there to give you some inspiration on your advertising. So as we dive right into the ads that have done and proven and made some big difference out there, I want to show you a couple things. First, I did mention that I was going to show you the URL to be able to check out other people's ads. This is a resource that I think every business should be checking out and taking a look at. If you're going to run ads yourself, it's important for you to know what's going on out there in the marketplace. Now, where you can go is facebook.com/ads/library. So if you go to facebook.com/ads/library, you can then type in any business you want to look up. If they have ads running in the specific country or a section of the world that you're looking at, then you can find the ads that they have on Facebook and Instagram, which are nice. And that's what I'm pulling up right here. So the first example I want to show you is Kerwin Ray. He's got some good creative, he's a personal friend, really good dude, and does some really good stuff. He's in Australia, and on the social media front, independent of ads or not ads, he understands social media very well, and so I like to use him as a reference point here and show you guys what's going on. So if you see this ad, it's got good copy, talks a little about, I like to have a little more space in mine than this, but who's to say what does or doesn't work better or not? You always got to test things. I like to have more space in my copy so it doesn't just feel like one big thing. But outside of that, this ad is a great one to look at. If you click here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, boy, do I have an announcement for you. For years, we have been asked by our audiences all over the world to do...
Okay, so here's what's happening. I want you to see his video, if you don't recognize, is not high quality. It's not like an unbelievable video. It's more homegrown. That is not an accident, okay? So this ad and other ads that he's done perform well because they're not all professional. Some of his ads are, but this, now, I'm not saying that this wasn't professionally thought up and figured out. He's smart. But what I'm saying is if you look at the video quality, it's not like a high quality video. But he does have text, right? So I want to just show you that real quick. That the text captions, that's important for you to use. I love using captions on ads. It helps people that are a lot of the time in the bathroom or somewhere inappropriate to be watching ads or being on Facebook or Instagram, and you want to be able to get your message across. So definitely like that. So there's just a couple of tactics that I wanted you to see. And then notice that he's excited about his message. He's telling you about what it is, and then he's going to have a call to action, right? So it's pretty straightforward. Moving on, here's another one, Chris Heidi Powell. You'll notice some themes here of this ad, and I'm going to play just a little bit of it so you can see that as well.
Hey, what's up, guys?
guys?
Chris and Heidi here.
Yes, now if you are like the thousands of people out there reaching out to us for help, you're at home, you're anxious, you're stressed.
Okay, so in this ad as well, you can see that they're literally shooting this on their iPhone. Like Chris has it in his hand. These are health and wellness fitness trainers, great people as well I've worked with. And in this ad, you can see there's a little more spacing. They tell you the steps, and then the ad copy goes longer, right? But great ad, straight to camera, even has some black lines. Doesn't matter. People don't care about that as much as they used to. In addition, a lot of people like to use this section for text anyways. But straightforward ad, and you can see that it's not overproduced. They get in front of the camera, tell you what they want to tell you, and move on from there. So I don't want anybody to think that you have to have like a $10,000 budget to shoot a commercial or shoot an ad that's going to go up on Facebook and Instagram. People like people. Those platforms are built around people, so use that way. Another example here is Frank Kern. I know and love Frank Kern, and he is a quirky, fun guy. If you look at his bio, that should tell you enough about how funny he is. I really like Frank. In this, I'm not going to play his video to look at time here, but Frank, in this video, you can also see not overly produced. He's in his home. Like, he's not, like, this isn't overly produced. And so his ad goes through, and this one I want to just at least point out, it's social proof. What he does is he shows you a little Excel spreadsheet basically of how many people have taken his course and how many complaints he's had about it. And so he's using social proof. He's using like, hey, look, these people have done this, they like it, and why wouldn't you like it, right? So another good ad, but again, not overly produced, great straightforward ad, and he tells you what he would do if he had to start over again, okay? Now, this is another example that I want to show you is David Bayer. I've met and talked with David Bayer as well. He is a coach, trainer, speaker, and what he has here in the content, this is produced. So this is a show by Tom Bilyeu called Impact Theory, which is also a great show as well, but it's a YouTube show that Tom puts out and interviews some pretty incredible people. Well, David is on here talking about his methodology behind what he does, right? And so this is a very, very produced segment, but it's also exactly what David Bayer believes will change your life. So again, if you can think of the things that are motivating you to do what you do, if you can explain that, if you can get people behind that, you will find that they will be more engaged. This is, in my opinion, a very incredible, very engaging ad because of what he's talking about. And so you can check that out as well. But another great idea, different than the other examples I've shown you, very high produced. He's on a show. He got a cut of that show, and he could use that to then push you to another message. This is to get you to like a page. As you can see, very, very straightforward ad. He wants you to like his page. So he's not trying to get you to buy his stuff. Just check it out. Moving on to YouTube. It's a different category. And in this section here, you can see this is an ad for Fiverr. It is a site that does a lot of little things for cheap, which is cool. But what I want to show you real quickly is how this comes to be. You can see how it's set inside of YouTube. Now, again, on the phone, it's a little bit different, but not much. It has a skip ad section here, and then it has this section that really gives you the headline of what this video is. Not everybody looks and sees this like they're seeing the video, which is interesting that this is not seen as much as you'd think it would be. But there is a little button here as well to start now. If you click on the video as well, that plays it. So let me just give you a quick look at this and give you some tips.
Programmers.
I prefer Code Director.
Next. Find your programmer quickly and easily at Fiverr.com.
So while you need to see the whole episode or that little episode of a video for an ad, they use humor. They use a lot of cast members, a lot of production. And I want you to know that on YouTube, I think there's a lot of people that are still missing the mark here. The big companies out there, like a Fiverr or other places, should be doing some produced video. But I will say that doesn't build any more value in YouTube than it does in Facebook. And so note, you don't have to overproduce it to make it be awesome. So that's one example. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you that I couldn't find the ads, YouTube's a little bit different to be able to find ads that you liked or that actually motivated you to click a button, is a State Farm commercial where in the video, the actors were saying, click the button, click the button. I can't believe haven't clicked the button. They're making a video specifically for YouTube. And that's one of the other things that's really nice and to be thoughtful about is if you want to create an incredible video for YouTube specifically, you can like make sure and point out like, hey, I know you can skip the ad right now, but I got something important to tell you. Or you can even point out, say like, hey, if you're not looking to do X, Y, and Z, then go ahead and skip the ad, right? And that's fine too, but that's another example of using the platform you're on specifically instead of just generically shooting a video and having that be your ad. So just an example. Another one. This is an ArtGrid. It's a place that allows you to get stock footage and video, so you can put that in your videos and whatnot. So this, I want to show you a little bit how that works as well.
For me to create a high-end commercial only with stock footage with ArtGrid is finally possible.
Okay, so again, highly produced, actor, all this kind of hubbub. We got their ad over here that gives you a little more detail. This is another example right on here on YouTube. This guy shows you how to do some Facebook ads, and that's wonderful. But what he's doing is he's showing his face. You can see that he's not in any high-produced facility. He's showing you his screenshot, and he's teaching you something. That is probably one of the best tactics you can use, whether you're using Facebook or YouTube, is don't worry about it being highly produced. Now, if you want a couple angles or if you want it to be a little more professional, that's fine. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying that getting in front of the camera, telling people what you wanted to know, and then telling them to click the button or to take the call to action, that is what matters most, and that's what will allow your ads to work the best. All right, now that you see some examples of what you could be doing and what other people are doing with their advertising on especially social media, I want to make sure that you know that this is implementable. You can actually do this for your business. And if you will, you'll find really great success. You'll learn, you might fail, but at the same token, if you start advertising, you can only get better. So start doing that today, and this is just one small way to automate big.